top coat. We've masked off the bottom, masked all the superstructure and deck off. We've obviously prepared the boat, primed the boat, gotten it ready for top coat, 320 grit preparation. You see in some of the patches we've gone through a little bit, they're a little bit dark. We'll put some extra top coat on those. We've hosed the whole shed out, we've got a reasonably clean environment. We've looked at the wind conditions as to where the overspray might go to. We've looked at the humidity. Everything's pretty much right, we're ready to go. All the different things that we've looked at in different segments have been undertaken and we're right to go. Top coating is a very complicated hand skill that takes years to perfect. So there's only so much we can show on film of how to do a top coat on any sort of substrate at all. But basically, there are the two main types in marine of top coat that we apply. That's an acrylic modified polyurethane, which is a buffable urethane that we use on probably 60-70% of the work that we do, and a linear enamel urethane, which is a non-buffable, longer lasting finish. It's a premium system for superyachts in the world. This one we're going to do an acrylic system on. Almost all of the top coating systems that you use rely on a tie coat. Now, the first coat you put on is your tie coat, and what it does is it promotes adhesion for the paints to stick onto the job. If you've got a very fine preparation system like we have on here with 320 or sometimes even finer, the adhesion onto that surface for a heavy coat of paint is very hard to achieve. It just wants to fall off. You have problems with runs and so on. But if you've got a very thin tie coat on there to start with that's semi-cured, so it's started to set up, it forms a beautiful base for the cohesion from the tie coat to the paint and the adhesion of the tie coat onto the boat. So almost all the top coat systems have a tie coat and then two full coats to achieve coverage over your cut throughs and the colour and depth, and that's the way that we're going to paint this boat today. The tie coat is not going to be able to be seen very easily on film, but all it is a very light coat, atomised very well, and you lay it on just to a stage before you achieve full shine. If you're used to laying paint on the surface at full gloss, you'll notice you basically lay it on to get a shine up on the surface. The tie coat, you're just laying it on just short of a full shiny coat, and you should see it start to be absorbed into the surface a little bit and it to sort of go a little bit matte as it dries. Otherwise you're putting too much on. So without experience you really can't gauge that, and without seeing it with your eyes. But that's a little bit of a description of how it's going to be done. So we'll show you how to set up a spray gun shortly. Basically after full atomisation, or premium atomisation, which is maximum air, maximum fan, minimum material, minimum pressure. We're going to do this with a gravity-fed gun, so you only got atmospheric pressure anyway. You'll see the fan will be nice and big and very fine on the edges. And that's the way we'll set it up. So I'll come back and show that in a second. Right, okay, as I discussed, we want to get good atomisation out of our paint to get it on flat, smooth. So we've got an Iwata W400 gravity-fed spray gun, nice little 1.4mm orifice. Now I'm just going to show you how to adjust it to a point to get a nice wide fan. Obviously a fan adjustment at the top here, we're going to open the right up. We're going to open our air right out. We're going to wind our fluid right in. Only got atmospheric pressure in the gravity fed. No fluid at all, just back the fluid off. Open it up until it's enough. I don't know if you can pick that up, but the fan's down quite wide. The fluid is being burst right apart. It's atomising it completely. Really nice wide fan. We'll just back it off until we've got only enough paint to get a nice light tie coat on the job. We'll use the masking below the surface to transfer our tie coat, make sure we haven't got too much paint on our first pass. And then we have some spots on this boat where we've cut through the primer a little bit into the colour underneath. So prior to applying our full tie coat, we'll lay a little tiny bit of paint on the top of that to promote the coverage of our paint colour onto the substrate. So I'll just show you how we test it, and then we'll hit a couple of dark spots, and then we'll show some footage of Adam coming through applying the tie coat.